Chicken Jockey, It's Morbin Time, and Minion or DeBob. These are some of the quotes and sayings that might highlight the memification of movies recently. It's been a thing that I wanted to talk about for a long time because I've kind of started to notice it since Morbius and obviously since Minions: The Rise of Gru, the fantastic 2022 movies that they were. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get into all of that. So the idea here is that basically since Morbius really came out, you started to notice with more and more movies that they have started trending towards the goofier side. Or, I got an idea, let's do a challenge. Guys, the challenge is you pay me money to watch my movie. Works out for everybody, right? No. But that's the way that these movies have started kind of thinking about it, especially, I think, with Minecraft being one of them, and Until Dawn recently is kind of leaning into it as well. So really all of this started back in 2022 when Morbius released, and guess what day Morbius released on? April 1st. The Fool's Day, one might say. And then I think ultimately 3 months later, is that my math? May, June, July, yes, July 1st, Minions: Rise of Gru came out on July 1st. So you had a short period of time there with Morbius and Minions: Rise of Gru where you had... That really just happened. Rewind the shit. It seems I may have missed a lesson on the structural integrity of hexagonal lights. My bad. My apologies for that. Let's get back into the memification of movies. So, basically, yeah, you have these two movies that come out with Morbius and with the Minions: Rise of Gru. So let's go ahead and get into what happened with Morbius. So with Morbius, you had the popular phrases become popular. Popular phrases become popular. They do that. You had the popular phrases of, it's Morbin time, and I'm going to make a more $1 billion from this. Mainly meant to signify the goofy nature of the movie, the hit movie, I should say, Morbius. Morbius was just such a goofy movie at the time that people were like, this movie is so bad, let's make fun of it. And the way that took place is by basically just taking the name Morb and adding it to everything. Literally everything. So you just add Morb to everything. And that would happen a lot on TikTok with like comments and stuff like that. It's Morbin time obviously being a little joke on the phrase it's clobbering time from The Thing. Little Marvel trivia there for you. But I'd like to address what happened mainly with Morbius as a movie. So Morbius came out again, like I said, and my cat is losing his fucking mind. Hold up, let me bring him in here. God forbid you try and film a damn video without shit going wrong. Okay, seems like we don't have lights today. I promise no more interruptions. So, back to what I was talking about with Morbius. So the Morbius movie, the reason it failed in the first place is because Sony, greedy little Sony, acquired the rights to Spider-Man back, I forgot when, sometime in the 1900s probably. Anyway. So basically they acquire the rights to Spider-Man, but they've got Spider-Man working in the MCU right now. They've loaned him out. They're getting a large amount of money off of Spider-Man being in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So what did Sony try and do? Sony tried to create a bunch of movies based purely around Spider-Man's villains or Spider-Man adjacent characters. The one problem? They didn't include Spider-Man. Who could have seen box office flops coming from that? I don't think anybody could have. Outside of Venom, Madam Web, and Morbius, and Kraven the Hunter are three of the worst movies, straight up, in superhero history, I would say. But let's get to the main reason why Morbius became a meme of a movie, because it's kind of the origin point of meme movies. So basically, when Morbius came out, again, a lot of people weren't interested in the first place because it didn't have Spider-Man in it. But also the nature of the movie, Jared Leto is a very memeable person. People don't really like him, it seems, and they think that he's kind of a joke, especially with his Joker character from the Suicide Squad movies. So him in general and just an uninteresting character with Morbius. Morbius is probably an interesting character as a side character, as a villain, but on his own, why are we making a solo Morbius movie? Weird. Really weird idea to begin with. But fans, again, not liking what they're seeing, found a way to make fun of it and just sarcastic humor about actually the movie's great. Actually, Morbius is great. So online, it became, like I said before, it's Morbin time and more billion bucks. They're making a more billion bucks at the more billion box office. Became a meme. And then the meme basically artificially inflated the relevance of Morbius the movie, and it had its initial run, but really the memes kind of started like really taking off at the end of its initial box office run, at the end of its run in the movie theaters. So then Sony was like, damn, we missed out on the meme. People actually like this movie, and even if the movie isn't actually liked by the fans, they might see it ironically, just because it's so bad and they hear about it so much and it's so culturally relevant that might as well watch it. Well, basically, a petition got signed with hundreds of thousands of signatures from fans saying, Sony, please bring back Morbius into the movie theaters. We will see it this time. We really want to see it.
It's Morbin time. Oh, shit!
What do you think happened? It flopped again. It flopped twice. So what you have here is kind of a bait by the fans of, you know what the ultimate joke would be? The ultimate joke would be if we got Sony too. Not only are we sarcastically making fun of the character and Jared Leto, but we're also getting the studio too. And they got him. They fully got him. The movie ended up grossing $167 million, but it had a $75 million budget. On top of that, the theater gets 40 to 50%, and they have marketing fees for marketing the movie on top of the base budget. So Morbius ends up being a massive flop where they only make a minimal amount of money or they lose money on it. So that's an example of how kind of the memification of movies has actually hurt a movie and hurt a studio, just purely based off of not understanding sarcasm of the fans, pretty much, and not understanding your own movie that you're putting out. The Minions Rise of Gru actually ends up being a happier tale than whatever happened with Morbius, by basically the trend or the meme that happens with this movie is that moviegoers, anybody that's just in the crowd, in the audience, whatever, showing up to the movie, you dress up in a suit to match the level of prestige that this movie has around it. Again, sarcasm, humor. It's mainly a movie made for kids at the end of the day, but a lot of the people doing this were teenagers at the time, and the teenagers at the time actually grew up with the Despicable Me movies. So to them, maybe it felt like an Avengers Endgame level event of minions, of Despicable Me. But basically it just ends up with, you just go, and they called it the gentle minion trend, where you just go and you dress up as a gentle minion, and you dress up in your finest attire, and you just go watch the movie. And honestly, it is sarcastic humor at the end of the day. It's at the expense of kind of the level of a movie it is. It's saying, oh, well, this is a kid's movie, but I'm going to dress up super proper for it. And that's the humor. That's the whole trend. But this really, really worked out for Minions Rise of Gru. The movie ended up grossing $940 million with an $80 million budget. Again, 40 to 50% goes to the movie theater chains themselves, but it ended up with the studio itself taking home at least $300 million from it. I think another important note about the Minions Rise of Gru 2 is that they actually saw results from the meme and from the kind of just online talk about it before they heavily went into it. And now we arrive at the singularity, the one event that made me want to make this video, the one event that had people laughing, crying, yelling, screaming, passing out, and showing up with full-on chickens and livestock. Yes, I'm of course talking about the Minecraft movie. So, the Minecraft movie ended up kind of being the ultimate memification of a movie. It mainly started off with a lot of the promotional material. It was one of those movies that, there's a common trend in Hollywood now, where you see these movie trailers, and they kind of reveal everything about the movie. And they release a lot of clips and a lot of trailers throughout the promotional period of the movie, of like, okay, let me let people know that this movie exists so people will be hyped to come and see it. Well, Minecraft's problem is they showed so many different clips. They showed literally, I want to say maybe 30% of the movie in their trailers. But what they didn't count on is that since Minecraft has got such a big fan base, such worldwide popularity and relevance, as far as, Minecraft is still a very relevant game. The fact that it's a video game adaptation in the first place is really a main factor in why this movie becomes such a meme. And then another secondary factor is Jack Black and his general worldwide fame, popularity and his memey nature. So where we get to is they release a lot of these clips from the trailers online, and it looks horrible. It does not look like a good movie, and most people are saying this movie does not. It's not going to be a good Minecraft movie at the end of the day, but it did have the possibility of being bad enough to be funny. And once the internet kind of started embracing that element of it, you start to see the gamers fall in line a little bit. Of, okay, maybe this is the thing that I really love and I really care about, but at the end of the day, if it's bad enough to be funny and Jack Black in the movie is funny enough through cringe and his accents and his meme or whatever, maybe we can get some value out of this, some culturally relevant thing that we can talk about, that we can say, I saw that, I thought it was funny, and we can all just generally have a laugh about it. So it all kind of starts from the clips and the trailers releasing a lot of the movie online, but then what started to happen is the dialogue from the clips and the trailers. It was so bad. It was so tutorial like. This is a crafting table, flint and steel, the nether. So many tutorial like dialogue came from it. Release when throwing a bucket of water. All of that. Very memey, very laugh-at-able type humor. But what I didn't know, and I'd never really seen this before, is a lot of the edits of the funniest lines from the Minecraft trailer and a lot of the clips that I was seeing about, this line is funny, you'd have these clippers basically take the clip and slow it down and then speed it up and play it over and over and over again.
Chicken jockey, chicken jockey, chicken jockey.
This proved to be a problem for people with vocal stimming problems. Trust me, I know a guy. He would not stop saying it, but I understand it because I would not stop saying it. Chicken jockey. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. It became basically this heavily repeatable phrase, or this heavily repeatable saying with almost everything in the movie. Everything. Hot chicken, the nether, flint and steel. It became almost a tick that everybody had. And once that started taking hold, TikTok shot off even more than it already had. And it got to this crazy level of hype for a movie that was going to be a bad movie. It's not a good movie. I know you might see the reviews saying a Minecraft movie is a great movie. It's not. It's pretty bad. It's a pretty bad movie. But at the end of the day, it is bad enough to be funny. Because they try a lot of interesting things with it. So what you have is you have a maximum amount of hype going into the release. Oh, I don't know why I just did that. You have a maximum amount of hype going into the release of this movie. And you have a world of people that have played Minecraft before and that are excited for it and that just kind of want to see what it is, even if it's just out of curiosity. And that is where we lead to the chicken jockey incident. Yes. So basically the movie releases and the crowd... I saw my showing of it very early on into the process. I'd say within the first, I think it was 2 days of the movie's release. It might have been the opening day of the movie's release. The entire movie theater was saying all of the lines in the movie. It was like, literally, my friend was there and he was quoting like 50% of the dialogue or something like that. But you also heard it echoing around you. It made you think that these people have seen this movie before. They hadn't. It was their first time in the movie theater watching it. They had, however, seen all the clips on TikTok and all the edits on TikTok. But it got to a crazy point where there was anticipation for lines, and the crowd roar... The only crowd roar that I've heard as loud as the chicken jockey crowd roar is straight up when Captain America wields Mjolnir in Endgame. And that took 20 movies to get to. This movie just released a couple of meme clips online, and... I don't even know how they did it. I honestly don't even know how they did it. But what you end up having is a passionate fan base of Minecraft players. You have a passionate group of TikTok watchers and people who enjoy the internet. Toxic online people. And then you have a crowd experience where people can experience something together and laugh about it. And that just forms this crazy event of Minecraft Memo. Didn't really know where I was going with that, so Mimo Bimo is what you get. But yeah, basically, it gets to a crazy point with the memes, and that's kind of where it gets a little bit worrisome for the future of media, I think. So the first thing I would like to address about it is the meme nature of the virality of this movie has tricked, I think it was Warner Brothers that came out and said it. Warner Brothers, I think they published the movie or they helped produce it or something like that. They said that a Minecraft movie is a great win for storytelling and writing. No, it's not. It's honestly the exact opposite. It is honestly a loss, a very, very big loss, because what you have is a movie that really didn't try too hard. They just got a goofy guy to play this popular role and then say a bunch of cringe shit, but since it's Jack Black, you're not getting the hate from the cringe, you're getting love, because people like Jack Black at the end of the day. He's a very, very likable guy. And now we've tricked these studios into thinking that their bad dialogue is somehow good and that their bad storytelling is somehow good. So I'm very worried for the future of, honestly, cinema in general, because I think what you're going to start to see is slop put out there, where, yeah, they might not have tried, but is it funny that they didn't try? Because that's exactly what happened with this movie. I just saw a report yesterday saying that a Minecraft movie, which is, I believe what they call it, is on pace for $1 billion at the box office. Now, that's not too unsimilar. I don't think that's the word, but we're going to go with it. It's not too unsimilar to the way that Minions Rise of Gru worked. Minions Rise of Gru, obviously, that was a more popular, more well-known entity at that point, so it was going to have a higher level of success to begin with. But the fact that people started having these experiences at the movie theaters with the Minecraft movie, it really propped it up, and it's making people want to go see the movie, even if they don't want to see the movie. And that, again, is another situation where we have to transition into a different topic, which is basically troublemakers in the movie theater. It got so popular that at some point people that weren't even interested in the movie started seeing the movie. And it was just because, well, this is a moment everybody else is having, and if this is a moment everybody else is having, I have to have it, or else I am left out of a joke that I don't want to be left out of. And you started having people show up with these massive bags of popcorn, and they would just, as soon as the chicken jockey moment happened, they'd start shaking the bags of popcorn. And as you can imagine, popcorn flew everywhere, and haha, funny little moment, haha, funny little moment, until the worker that has to clean up the movie theater comes in, and you've just made their job 10 times harder for 0% more pay. That's kind of really the problem, is a lack of consideration when these movies kind of become memes, and we've only really seen it with a Minecraft movie so far, but the sarcastic nature of how popular these movies have gotten, where it was just sarcastic that, okay, Morbius is just a bad idea for a movie, so the sarcastic humor is, but it's actually good. And then for Minions Rise of Gru, this is a kid's movie, but we're dressing like it's not. We're dressing like it's an opera. We're dressing like it's a ball. And then the sarcastic nature of Minecraft is kind of a culmination of all of it, mixed with online TikTok virality. And then you basically get this horrible combination of now people who don't care about the movie, don't care about watching the movie, are coming to see the movie just to make trouble. And that is kind of where this gets a little dangerous. So it progresses, and then you have clips like this clip of a guy straight up bringing a chicken into a movie theater for the chicken jockey moment. Because why not, I guess. And then you have another, and I think this is a much sadder instance of the meme nature of this movie. It got to a point where people just wanted to see the chicken jockey moment so much that there is a clip online of somebody being checked out by a medical team in the middle of the movie, that they're like shining the flashlights trying to make sure that the person's okay. But, however, the audience can't get its kicks if the chicken jockey moment's happening during a somber moment. So you have a decision to make. You have a decision to make of, okay, something serious is going on right now. This is no time and no place to say chicken jockey. Or, I've got to say chicken jockey. And what do you think they did? The crowd erupted in a chicken jockey, and I can only think if I was in some sort of medical tragedy in a movie theater, and the last things I heard while I was having a very serious moment in my life was a crowd erupt around me while I'm down on the floor looking up at the ceiling, and all I hear is my last words are, chicken jockey. I think that would convince me I was in hell the second I was on the floor there. However, it's just humans kind of being selfish, I guess, at the end of the day. And I think that's really my problem with the online trend is, yes, it's fun to poke fun at movies that are, they're not trying, they're pushing out slop to the masses and they're hoping that people like it. And it's always going to be fun to sarcastically say that something bad is actually something good. However, where that crosses the line is where when you say that your own fun is more worth having than somebody else having a serious moment, or than somebody just trying to enjoy a movie, or than making a worker's at the movie theater, making a worker's life significantly harder for the sake of your fun. That is when I think it becomes a problem. Now, we haven't seen that happen with Morbius and Minions Rise of Gru, but we have seen it happen with Minecraft. This is not something that should reflect back on the movie itself. But what I'm saying is there is a trend around it where I think people... This cat's going crazy. Let's see if he'll talk to us. Again, it isn't something that reflects poorly on the movie itself, but it does reflect very poorly on the trend around these movies, which is, at the end of the day, my joke and my satisfaction and my enjoyment is more meaningful to me than other people being able to just watch a movie on their own. It happened in multiple theaters across the nation where police had to straight up be called in because people were messing around so much. Several screenings had to be stopped because of it. So again, I think it's about the selfishness of the people who just want their joke to be meaningful. They just want their joke to hit them. They want their moment. I think one thing to remember throughout all of this is to always be a respectful person of others. That seems to be the primary trend here. You can have your sarcastic fun, but don't do it at the expense of others, whether it's making them work harder for no significant pay increase, or whether it's straight up getting the cops involved because of your own immaturity. My feelings about this general trend of movies becoming more of events and memes and jokes, more so than they are movies and actual cinema experiences for people, is that I think it's all great to have fun, but again, don't do it at the expense of other people. And now I'd like to talk about my worries for the future, which comes with Until Dawn. So Until Dawn is another video game adaptation that is just kind of like this horror movie or horror game. It's kind of a horror movie / game. It's like a combined experience. But basically what you have in it is you have in the movie, they're adapting the game's title, but they're not really adapting the game itself. And they're trying to do kind of a similar strat towards their movie as Minecraft did with theirs, which is a video game adaptation with a challenge, a trend, or an event. And the challenge is that you start watching Until Dawn at 12 midnight, and you try and watch it until... What do you think until? Until dawn. Who wants to watch a horror movie for 8 hours in a row, or 7 hours in a row? Not me. Especially when they're not... And when you look at the actual movie, it's not even that great of an adaptation of the game. It might not even be one. It might just be loosely based around it, which just means it's another movie with the branding of the game. So, I don't know. I'm significantly worried about... I didn't mention the Barbenheimer. Boy, I'm just getting lit up with random shit this video. But I didn't mention Barbenheimer, but you saw other movies try and do this dual movie combo thing after it too. And I think your movie should stand alone and get people to go to the movies because it's a good movie. It shouldn't get people to go to the movies because there's a crazy crowd reaction over randomness. Or, your movie's so bad that it's actually watchable because it's so bad. I think you should focus more on the quality of your movie just being better instead of trying to make it viral. And I think that kind of goes with a lot of things in society nowadays, is viral ends up being better than good quality. And I would like to see that shift a little bit. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this video, about this, ongoing issue that we have of these meme movies. I enjoyed making this video. Obviously, we had some things happen with the little kitty cat and the lights and the text and everything, but this is my first real attempt at a commentary style video, and I would appreciate if you liked the video, if you commented, try and push it to other people, and I would also, appreciate a subscription, smashing the subscribe button. I would appreciate it, but again, I mean, it's up to you at the end of the day. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. My little kitty here, say bye, little kitty. He says bye. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and peace.